Good afternoon, welcome to the very hot and sunny Isle of Wight, and behind me one of our 7 surviving tin tabernacles. This is Blackwater. This is St Barnabas Church, established in the late 19th century, about 1888, as a chapel of ease for the Arreton Church. Tin tabernacles are an amazing piece of history that has now all but disappeared. In fact, at the moment we can only account for less than 80 worldwide. There's 4 in Scotland, there's 4 in Wales, and we have 7 on the Isle of Wight. A few in Australia, some in India. So these buildings, prefabs of their time, start in 1830-ish with the invention of corrugated tin. But these were quick, simple buildings whereby the parishioners could club together, put their own foundations in, and literally order a flatback church. It would arrive at the local railway station, they'd cart it here on carts with horses, and they'd build their own church. Well, what you're really looking at is a huge change in social history. From the 1870s in late Victorian England, you're looking at this massive move of people from the rural areas into cities. And of course they needed accommodation very quickly, but they also needed churches. And it's estimated between 1880 and 1900 some 4,000 churches were built in the cities across the world. What you see here, this tin tabernacle, is a perfect example. It has survived for the past 130 years. It's obviously lost its bell tower, and it ceased to be a church in about 1965. Then it became a big builder's yard, and today it's a lovely shop for fruit and vegetables. So these buildings were quick to erect and, I say, ordered by mail order, but there was a problem that they were actually quite expensive. It's estimated they initially were about £4 a seat. It doesn't sound a lot, but if you've got a congregation of 600 people, £1,200, and you've got to put your own foundations in, is a huge amount of money. But as more and more companies started getting into the market, you're looking at about £1 a seat within 10 years. So suddenly populations could gather together and put these buildings in. And welcome to St Barnabas Church. Long past the church, perhaps 60 years, but this is the main entrance. With the original paint, you can see under here we've got 4 or 5 layers. And the tin would originally have been quite a bright colour. Although this was an Anglican church, they were still meant to be attractive. They were quickly built. You can see they're literally just galvanised tin, and the sit roofs as well. So when it rained, it was really hard to hear the vicar. But plus the cars, plus the cars, yes. But they are unique survivors, and this one is perhaps of all the 7 on the island, and now 3 of them are converted to private houses for Airbnb. 1 is now a women's institute, and 1 is now a scout hut. Well, the reason we come here is that it still looks like it did in the 1880s, when all the parishioners would have arrived here by horseback and cart to come to the Chapel of Ease, because the other church is 6 miles from here, so you might as well do it here. Well, my name is Tim Wonder, Isle of Wight historian, and I'm here with my very good friend, and we're just looking at this phenomenon called tin tabernacles. Over my shoulder you'll see St John's Church, built in about 1885 as a chapel of ease for St George's in Arreton. This is a tin tabernacle, where a tin tabernacle is basically a flat-pack church. It's a phenomenon we find in late Victorian England, whereby churches have become very serious and very formal. A whole number of new religions are breaking out, the Wesleyans, the Baptists, the Methodists. And you then get a point whereby also you have this massive move of people from the land to the cities. We think that between 1880 and 1900, some 4,000 churches were built. And this is one of the few surviving examples, less than 80 worldwide and 7 here on the Isle of Wight. I say St John's Church, a tin tabernacle, all religions, all faiths, sometimes 3 or 4 different congregations would share them on different nights, but all built by public subscription. So essentially you would order these from a catalogue, it would arrive on the train, you would put your own bases in, and you'd build a church, and it could happen within 3-4 days. An amazing phenomena. By 1910, the First World War, it has disappeared. So today, 2023, we're looking at less than 80 known worldwide. Some of them listed buildings, some of them like the one over here have been really beautifully restored, as this is a private house. Another one over in Chale is an Airbnb, another one is a women's institute. Very, very rare survivors of this very short period in history where religion explodes, but there's nowhere to go.